Anu agreed to spare Alalu's life on the condition that he and his followers, called the Igigi, left Nibiru and never returned. Alalu took the Igigi and fled Nibiru, and Anu took the throne. Anu was surprised that Alalu didn't put up more of a fight, but Alalu had seen something in the tablets of destinies. Alalu knew that Nibiru's time was running out. The tablets showed Alalu that Nibiru follows a tilted and elliptical orbit. As its orbit takes it further away from the sun, life on Nibiru would face a slow death. Alalu tried to create a protective atmosphere around Nibiru by dropping powerful weapons into the volcanoes across the world. These weapons were originally made for war, and were called weapons of terror, because everything they touched turned to dust. But dropping the weapons of terror into the volcanoes only temporarily sustained Nibiru's atmosphere. Hoping to find salvation out in the stars, Alalu ordered his scientists to send satellite probes in search of a new home. The probes found one planet that could sustain Nibiruan life. That planet was Earth. Once on Earth, Alalu marveled at the virgin planet, its fertile soil, vast oceans, and lush vegetation. But what Alalu discovered next would create a chain of events that led to the birth of the human race as we know it. Alalu and the Igigi established Eridu, their station on Earth. They began to explore and scan the planet for gold. Alalu and the Igigi found gold beneath the surface, as well as in the waters and marshes. Gold was more than just a precious metal on Nibiru. It was a natural resource the Anunnaki used to power the infrastructure on Nibiru. Gold was used to clean their water, power their ships, and soon they would need it to stabilize their protective atmosphere, which was sustained by volcanic activity. Gold on Nibiru was a limited resource, and once it ran out, all life on the planet would die. Alalu saw this discovery as his opportunity to reclaim the throne. He would not only be the king again, but he would be the savior of all living things on Nibiru. Alalu ordered his grandson, Kumarbi, to travel back home and tell King Anu about the gold they had found. When Kumarbi arrived on Nibiru, he shared his message with King Anu, and King Anu appointed him as his royal cupbearer. This gesture was made as a symbol of reconciliation between the two kings. Anu decided to send his two sons, the half-brothers Enki and Enlil, on a mission to Earth. They were to confirm whether or not Alalu's claims were true, but they were, in secret, given another mission. King Anu told his sons when they arrived on Earth to separate. Enlil would take 50 workers with him and meet with Alalu, while Enki would take his 50 workers to the other side of the world. And if there was gold, Enki was to begin mining it without Alalu's knowledge or consent. Enlil would act like he was the only one there, and that Anu would peacefully give up the throne if Alalu came back to save Nibiru. Enlil was guided to a safe landing by Alalu, while Enki crash-landed in the area known today as the Persian Gulf. King Anu sat and waited for Alalu to return and deliver the gold. But on Earth, not everything was going as planned. The Igigi and the Anunnaki were too few in number. The workforce was divided, some building spaceports, some growing food supplies, and only a handful left to mine the gold. The gold they extracted was too small and insufficient for Nibiru's needs. Enlil sent word to Anu, requesting more time to collect a larger amount of gold. Tired of the hard labor and bitter from being exiled to an alien planet, the Igigi rebelled. There was a violent clash between the Nibiruans and the Igigi. Ninurta, Enlil's son, defeated Anzu, the Igigi leader, and was honored as a hero. But the conflict left the Anunnaki with even fewer laborers, and a food shortage created unrest among the workers that remained. Alalu decided they would return home to Nibiru, taking with them the small amounts of gold they had unearthed. Alalu granted Enlil stewardship of Earth until his grandson Kumarbi arrived. Kumarbi, Alalu decreed, would be the new ruler of Earth. But Alalu didn't know he was walking into a trap. When Alalu arrived back on Nibiru, he was greeted by all the firstborn and all of royal blood lineage. They stood and watched as Anu challenged Alalu to a fight to determine who the true king of Nibiru was. The fight was bloody and long, but in the end, Anu was the victor. Anu had Alalu arrested and sentenced him to be imprisoned on Mars for all eternity. Then Anu sent word to his sons back on Earth. Enlil was to be the king of Earth. This angered Enki, who, as Anu's firstborn, had birthright to the throne. Then Anu ordered Enlil and Enki to work together to mine the gold and save their homeworld. And while they waited for more Anunnaki workers to arrive, Enki began to explore planet Earth and conduct experiments on the wildlife he found there. Enki discovered a race of upright walking apes, primitive creatures who survived by hunting prey with simple stone tools. Enki proposed creating a primitive worker race by combining the life essence of the Anunnaki with these wild, humanoid creatures. Enlil initially opposed the idea, stating that only the creator of all has the power to create new beings. Enki argued they were merely enhancing a being that already existed. They weren't intruding into the work of the creator, simply altering life they found. Enlil felt it was wrong, but he knew the need for gold was great, so he let Enki begin his experiments. Enki began experimenting with the creatures, failing several times before successfully creating a male primitive worker using in vitro fertilization of an Anunnaki female womb. The prototype worker was named Adamu. Enki then created a female earthling called Tiamat using the same process. Under Enlil's orders, Adamu and Tiamat were to be made sterile, but Enki deceived his brother and gave Adamu and Tiamat the ability to procreate, and he placed them in a land called Eden to roam free. Soon after, the replacement Anunnaki workers arrived, and the sons of Anu began a more structured mission to mine the gold from the earth.